Good to go. Right.
We are live.
We are live. Hello, everyone. So, as the sun sets on another PLE, we have our first ever Crown Jewel champions who both have now jewellery for their collections. A major storyline moving forward and matches that simply didn't happen because shenanigans. So many shenanigans. Hello, welcome to Bunkamania Wrestling on the Bunkamania UK channel. Whether you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I am your host, and it's the first time I'm doing this, so apologies in advance if I am nervous, because I really am. And today I am joined by Matty Boo and Jeremy. How are you both doing this afternoon?
We're doing absolutely great. That was amazingly in sync, Jeremy. Yeah, doing fine. To everybody at home, this is a slightly different podcast. We're trying a couple of different things. One of them, obviously, the delightful Harriett right there is trying out to be the main host for this one, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different later on. This is my idea, so if it turns out to be a little bit rubbish, blame me. So there we go. Harriet, right back to you. I am grand.
So, yes, as Matty said, actually, Jeremy, how are you doing?
I'm physically present. I've got a voice somehow. I've been at a wedding. So context, folks. Random, but I'll keep it quick. I've basically been involved with a really close friend of mine's wedding. I'll say shenanigans, good shenanigans for the better part of 5 days. So if I seem really out of the loop, it's because I am. But that's what's going to make this fun. And Harriet, what's the point? How are you holding up? You good?
It's been a week, so so I think the majority of us have not been well, and I think today is my stronger day as such. Matty is the only one who has somewhat escaped from everything. And Ian sadly can't join us today because he's not well either, but I know somehow he's watching, so hopefully we're doing a good thing today. So yes, as Matty said, we are talking about Crown Jewel, which happened yesterday once again in Saudi Arabia. And it's the last one of the Saudi shows this year, but it's going to be a busy month for wrestling for us this year because November decided to go, do you know what? 1 won't do, 2 won't do. We'll have 3 pay-per-views this month. So, yeah, we're going to be very busy. But, yes, Crown Jewel, Saudi Arabia. So we've been so used to having like 5 card matches of late, but in yesterday's pay-per-view they decided no, we'll have 2, we'll have 7 matches because why the heck not. But we did have like a new thing that was introduced last month was it Bad Blood month last month for the pay-per-view? Yes, where we all watched it on Discord, and we do have group calls on Discord to watch along these events, and they introduced the Crown Jewel belts, and essentially
that was the big thing about this show, wasn't it? I forgot. Yeah,
pretty much that's what this whole pay-per-view So pretty much this is what the whole emphasis of this pay-per-view was about, was basically at the end of the night we're going to have 2 brand new champions, a male and a female, and it was basically both champions of each brand facing off against each other. We'll talk more about that as and when, but then as I think it was the pre-show or the show the day before, pretty much before SmackDown aired, it was announced that these championships will not be returning with the people. Instead, they will be yes, I know.
I'm sorry, what?
Believe
folks,
me.
when I say I'm out of the loop, I'm out of the loop. I have not seen this show, so this is the first I'm hearing of this. What?
We only found this out on Friday, by the way, during the pre-show, where it was kind of, instead of the belts returning with them, I think it's going to be a yearly thing where they will vouch and fight for them. You know how Hall of Famers get a ring?
Yes.
They get a ring. They get a commemorative ring, basically, of a design what this belt looks like. Your face says it all.
Okay. So hypothetically, let's go back in time here. I'm already derailing the show. I'm sorry. So
it's fine.
Roman Reigns is champion for like 5 years. If this belt had already existed, would he just have like 5 rings to wear each year?
I mean,
does he get a new one every year?
You know that infamous cover from Green Lantern, Jeremy, where Hal Jordan had all of the Green Lantern his hands with a maniacal look on his face. Just imagine that, but Cody Rhodes.
It's like Thanos' hat, like the ring. It's like. So yeah, and so many carrots. I don't know how many there are, but we kept on getting close up of the ring afterwards, but unfortunately the camera could not focus on it. But Cody has posted photos on social media of it next to his. So he's put it on his index finger, obviously next to wrong hand, index finger wedding ring. So you can see like the size difference. It's a very chunky ring. It
very much is. So Jeremy, were you watching Ring of Honor around the time that Cody Rhodes was the world champion for them?
I saw a couple of bits here and there, but in the grand scheme of things, no. Like, I saw a few bits.
Are you aware? Because this was during his Bullet Club heel run, where he was the heel amongst the heels, right? Although not in his mind, he thought he was the dog's bollocks. But he thought he was good enough to not have a championship belt. He had to be different, and he wore his championship belt as a ring on his hand. And when they did that, and he was like, kiss the ring, show it off, and all that, we're right back to Ring of Honor Cody Rhodes here. Holy God, the guy's a heel. He's gone back to being a maniacal heel, and I'm here for it. What the fudge? I nearly swore, Harriet, and I was a good boy. Not like you last night. You said all the swears last night.
No, that was pure. I've had enough. I did swear. I'm not gonna lie. There is a photo of me just doing like that, like sort of. Can we finish this? Maybe. Yeah, I have thoughts of the post show, but we will move on to Crown Jewel. We'll talk this very briefly because it's pretty much all filler, no killer, basically. As most Saudi shows usually are. We're trying to sell this to Jeremy. We weren't doing a good job, but Matty, because you watched it. In all, what did you think of the pay-per-view?
I love the content of the wrestling. They put on a heck of a show. I will support the women. I'm sorry. I'm going to support the women. I thought that tag match absolutely was awesome. They did everything they possibly could to say, look at us. Look what we do. We're just as valid as all the men around here. And also, just to take it back to that post show, it ended. Props to WWE. It ended not on anybody else. It ended with Liv Morgan. So, spoilers, Jamie. Liv Morgan won the women's ring as well.
Oh, spoilers!
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Jamie. I know you really, really wanted to watch this. But it ended on a woman. A woman, Harriet, if you can believe it. It ended on a woman at the post show talking about how much this meant to her, which I turned to Harriet and went, ain't she supposed to be the heel, Harry? Like, sorry, the camera flipped me. Isn't she meant to be the heel, Harry? You know, it's like tears running down her eyes, talking about finding this cat in Saudi Arabia, and unfortunately, she can't take it with her, but it's her cat. But she's named it Saudi, and it's staying with the family. What was that about? Anyway, but
We will go into context of that later.
Yeah, but anyway, the last lingering shot
pretty much,
of the post show is Liv Morgan, like she has the last say, and all of the promo videos outside the WWE experience where they held the post show press junket, or it was more them having a chit chat, was all Liv Morgan videos. So in the progressive country of Saudi Arabia, WWE did some progression. There we go, guys. We did it.
Yeah.
Achievement unlocked.
True. I mean, you can't.
I honestly, one of my favorite matches was the Absolute Melee tag team match with all the women who all looked amazing, by the way, with the limitations they were given. Yeah. Although later on, Nia Jax came out basically looking like the Crown Jewel logo because she had the exact same matching like contours and colors of the logo. So, yes, I will also say this, that main event between Gunther and Cody Rhodes was incredible. Unfortunately, a lot of the time we were just totally taking the mickey out of the show while it was going on, but the match itself, incredible. I've got nothing really bad to say about the wrestling content of the 7 matches that were on show. unfortunately, it's a shame most of it was completely non-canon because the women's tag titles got retained. We started with the demographic, the status quo of the bloodline being exactly the same as how it was left exactly the same as how they went in. So no progression was made at all. Like Sami Zayn turned up. He faced off against the new bloodline, but the last thing is that they had a little bit of miscommunication between him and Jimmy Uso, and it all fell apart again. So what was achieved? Nothing. What was achieved with the tag match? Nothing. What was achieved with everything else? Hey, LA Knight retained his title. What did that achieve in the best of 7 series between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes? Nothing. And then finally, but hey, Harry, Jeremy, hey, Cody and Liv got some lovely bling. I know. Yeah. The problem is that I look Jeremy's way, and it
we're usually the other way round. To be fair,
and then I look at Harry's way, and it's me looking at Jeremy. But hey, to ruin my own joke, Cody and Liv got some lovely bling out of it, which will never be talked about again. So what did that achieve?
No, that's true. I do want to do inches.
So Decadane in the chat says you could kind of argue the Sami inclusion pushed Bloodline forward pushed forward a few inches forward. And by that, I would say it's the equivalent of AJ Styles flying to Australia to interfere in a match.
We will get to that. Tiffany Stratton flew all the way to Saudi Arabia.
I agree with the comment, but that's the comparison I'm making.
Tiffany Stratton flew all the way to Saudi Arabia to try and cash in her blinking Money in the Bank. Sorry, Harriet.
I mean, I will say this: the Bloodline versus Bloodline storyline. This was the only sort of somewhat canon thing that was happening. It kind of tells a story going forward what's going to happen at Survivor Series, War Games. It was quite interesting. A few facts here. One, Jay came out on his own, and he was the last to come out as well. So, and he got Jimmy and Roman came out together, and then Jay came out in the audience doing the whole yeet thing. He started the match, and then it kind of carried on from there. Another few things was that when Jimmy was going to give the tag, he gave it to Jay rather than Roman. So it kind of made you feel that Roman was not the important one in this match, which is kind of, that's where it's leading down to. And the whole thing then towards the end, ref bumps aside, because there's always a ref bump in the Bloodline match, because, it's like a bingo card of what you have in there. The whole thing with Sami on Raw the week before joining in, talking with Solo, it was the kind of, is he going to, is he not going to, and then obviously sided with the original Bloodline, and then more shenanigans. I did like the shot at the end where it was Solo on his own, and you had each of the original Bloodline, including Sami, kind of staring down the middle, gunning for Solo, and then unfortunately the Sami trying to give the Helluva Kick to Solo, ended up giving it to Roman. But Roman wasn't mad. He was just sat there like, what? Like confusion as like what is going on, sort of thing. So I think in this match it was good. I didn't mind it, and it kind of going forward, it's just like, at least we have an idea now of Sami being in with the original Bloodline. And we have like 4-on-4, obviously, with War Games. It's usually 5-on-5, isn't it?
I think it's been 4-on-4 on this main roster version of War Games as of late. I think they have done 5-by-5.
Yeah. So depending now what happens, whether each one will get another member of each team. I mean, The Rock could come back in. I don't know. We could have another member of the family come in. Who knows? But yeah, this was and also it started the pay-per-view or the premium live event, which was quite a surprise. But obviously, I think we knew that Gunter Cody was going to headline it because obviously pyro and celebrations and blah 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 blah, which is what happened towards the end.
And because of the majesty of the Crown Jewel Championship.
We have
The-
thoughts, Jeremy.
Oh, we did. The post show broke us both. I'm not gonna lie, it really did. But there was a great shot. Now I have to say the camera work of late has been incredible, and there was a great shot of Roman sitting in the ring, and in the background you see Sammy walking away after all the chaos that happened. And I think I saw something online saying, "This looks familiar," and I'm like, aha, yes, I do see where you're going with this. It's quite cool. But yeah, that was that first match out of the way. And any more thoughts on that?
I mean, Jeremy's like anything you want to say from that surmise there. Any logistical things you need to say?
How long was the match? Like, give or take, like 20? Was it like a half an hour, epically long, could have been 10 minutes type thing, or was it like short, sweet, and to the point?
I don't know. I think it was like
I can
20
look it up.
minutes.
This is more out of
at
curiosity.
least.
Yeah. So while Harriet looks that up,
yeah, I think it was
will
about 20
say
odd
on the
minutes.
Yeah, I would say that the one thing we can take away, Ian, who was contacting us through WhatsApp throughout the show last night, he said it was really telling that Jay Uso was allowed to make his own entrance and be last. So that's usually reserved for, like, the champions or somebody that you really are putting yourself behind. And Jay ultimately got the last word on those. So so long as they don't drop the ball, Jay Uso is going to have the rocket strapped to him. And we had a little taste of that when he was Intercontinental Champion. And I'd love to have another go at that. I'd like to see another run of that at some point. I feel that things got jeopardized with this whole Goldberg situation somewhat.
I think another important thing is the fact that Solo pinned Roman. Because that's, that was the big go
did
home
he now?
from the
That's
way.
interesting.
Yes. Yeah, he did the Samoan spike, and then there was a whole back and forth. Then the ref bump got involved, and then everything outside the ring. But yeah, it was a clean pin. 1, 2, 3, Solo won. Which is kind of
second match back, he's already jobbing,
I'm telling you, that weekend cosplay's done wonders for him. It really has.
In fairness, it's good that Solo got a win, because I seem to recall from previous conversations, be it that I've been involved in or that you folks have had about WWE, in that it felt like that Bloodline 2.0 needed some form of more credibility to kind of help continue it going forward. So at least that's happened. But obviously not knowing the full context of how it happened, but at least that's happened.
Actually, there was something I was going to bring up as well. Ian's brought it up in the chat with Goldberg, because this was something that was just announced last minute. It's like, Goldberg's like, I'm going to have a retirement match. If Cena can do it, I can do it. Yeah, legitimately, we were stunned by this. This was like during the opening show. Yeah.
I have an immediate question about this.
Go on.
What, was he not already retired? Had he already had a Saudi match? Did that not mean he already retired, or was that Wait. If this show's non-canon, it means the retirement match will probably happen in Saudi, which means he's never retiring. He'll keep wrestling only in non-canon events.
Oh no. It's literally, it's like the ongoing cycle going on and on and on. Yeah, money.
So is that following
I don't know when the retirement match is going to be.
Is that following on from the idea then that he might wrestle, was it Gunther that he did a little thing with back at Bad Blood?
You would say that. So. I'd rather be him and Bron Breakker. Because that's the Battle of the Spears, isn't it?
It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. I don't know when it's going to be, but apparently he's announced it, and it's going to be a thing. This next year's the year of retirements. It really is. It's just like, especially wrestlers, not just everyone in general, but just like.
Hang on, wait a minute. Hang on. Ian's just said something else in the chat. What? This was on a foot. What is going on? Did this not happen on the Crown Jewel show?
No. No, he
No,
did this.
no,
He
no.
did this completely separate from WWE. WWE had nothing to do with it.
You know how
Hi,
like Pat
Jeremy.
McAfee do usually he does these exclusive stuff. It's kind of like that. It's outside of the action. Anyway,
Do you know what? I'm not even going to question. Let's carry on.
we've already it's been like 20
Oh.
odd minutes. We've already broken Jeremy. Sorry, and there's only not even the first match done. On
Oh,
to
to resolve one other point, by the way, the
Yes.
Bloodline v Bloodline match was about 16 minutes or so. Having just googled it.
It did seem rather quick. One thing I will say, because everyone was worried about Solo Sikoa, and the main thing about Jacob Fatu overshadowing him. Jacob Fatu kind of overshadowed him here because he did a lion's share of most of the work rate. Just saying, he's a standout.
I did love.
I
when
would
the
argue
post-show-
that Solo is emulating the old tribal chief by staying on the ring apron until he absolutely positively has to get involved and be the bee's knees and get the win.
I said this exactly to Matty last night. I
Yep.
said like Jacob is the old what's his name? Solo, sorry. He is the old Solo
Enforcer.
of now. And it's just like, yeah, the enforcer. And it's like, we respect you. I mean, there was a great line at the end of the pay-per-view where they were interviewed. There you go. Where Jacob literally at the end of the promo literally just shouted, I'm gonna do this over here. I love you, Solo. Sort of literally as they're walking off. It was so funny. It was just like there's been some hilarious moments on this pay-per-view. Not alone the fact Triple H getting hate from everyone, telling when everyone's booking. So Jeremy, for pretext, the pre-show. This is one of the funniest things I've seen this week.
There was a pre-show. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah,
there was a kickoff show in a pre-show.
There was a So basically, the crowd was they were talking about WrestleMania and they were just chanting, like WrestleMania, and then obviously Triple H went, yes, WrestleMania is going to be in Las Vegas. Instantly the crowd just goes boo! This just show. I mean,
what's that song
I love
from the
you,
musical
Solo.
Avenue Q? What's that song from Avenue Q? It sucks to be you.
Yeah.
God bless him. Triple H just doesn't get it sometimes, does he? He doesn't know how to just feed and pander.
No, I think Michael Cole cut it off abruptly after that. I think probably
Yeah.
for the best. Yeah, pre-show and after show, post-show has been the best part of this. I'm not gonna lie, but before we diverge.
You want to talk about the pre-show and Michael Cole, the blinking Saudi, the Saudi crowd freaking loves Michael Cole. Did you see the reception he got?
Yeah,
that's because
the
they're,
crowd
I don't
almost
know,
went in.
they're all part of the coal miners.
I forgot about the coal miners.
I
remember the coal
to forget about the coal miners.
Now we remember.
Sorry, Harry, I'm derailing. What do you want to talk about next, Harry? Sorry.
We'll move on to the next match because we'll talk about this briefly. It was the 4-way tag match. Let me get my notes here of who it was because I cannot remember who was in it. So we had Bella and Cargill versus Jackson and Legend versus Sky Insane versus Green and Nevin. And I will say I really enjoyed this match. It was really good. I think it was good to see Jackson Legend, now known as their metaphor. So obviously just started off. Matty, I'll let you explain this.
Right, so
we'll come back to that. Let's let Harry get through the match. We'll come back to that a bit later because I get a feeling this might require an explanation. So let's go with it. I
mean, there wasn't really much to say about this match. It was a good match. I don't think there were many botches per se because I think unfortunately with a lot of matches involving Jade, people do like go on top of her because obviously that's what she had a few matches ago. Really, I hate the fact people kind of repeat it, but I honestly enjoyed this match. It was, I think everyone had an equal footing in regards to showing who they were, especially Jackson and Legend, because obviously they're on NXT. And it was a good way, if people hadn't watched them before, to showcase them, even though they have been on Raw and SmackDown of late, I think, or one or the other. And I, in my heart of hearts, I mean, Belair and Cargill retained, but in my heart of hearts, I did want them to win, but I didn't think they were going to give them that push. I think they're going to leave it until like a bigger pay-per-view. So maybe not War Games, probably Royal Rumble. I don't know. Or maybe Saturday Night Main Event, because that's coming up very soon. But also, this was a year. I mean, we thought it was 2 years. It was actually a year where I think Kairi Sane returned to a pay-per-view and to Crown Jewel. Was it
Yeah,
Kairi
because I
Sane
think
or...
she
Sounds about right now
debuted.
you mention it.
I have a
Yeah.
recollection of you guys being at a Wrestle Talk watch party, and I
Yes.
watched the post recording of it alongside. I dual screened that with me watching the show, and it was Crown Jewel then. So yeah, I think it's about a year since Kairi Sane debuted.
It was because damage control was still a thing, and Bailey was like, "Oh God," because obviously the whole thing of her turning on Sane as well. But I did like that. Chelsea Green got her flowers as well. Obviously, she got completely squashed by Piper Niven in a accidental. Shouldn't have happened, but it did happen sort of moments. I did like the fact they brought in the fact that she still is afraid of heights to the point she cannot climb the top rope to jump off and hit everyone. Instead, she did the usual shtick of landing in Piper's arms again. And it's like, it's okay, everything's fine. And then I think Jackson just completely like, nah, screw it. Lands on everyone sort of thing. It was just really good, I will say this. But yes, any thoughts on what you thought of the match, Matty?
Pretty much I think I said everything I had to say about that match like earlier on in the stream. I pretty much think that this was a lovely showcase for most of these women to show what they can do. And it's like, look, we're valid. Watch us. Just eyes on us. We can put on a heck of a show for you guys. And they certainly delivered on that front. All of the women looked absolutely incredible with the limitations they had and from a presentation point of view. I can't remember what Lash and Jakara were supposed to be, but
we thought it was like Venom.
I did call Jade and Belair the ice cream sprinkles because they were all smothered in all these hundreds and thousands. But yeah, they had a work rate was incredible. It was an utter cluster, and it was one of those that just absolutely thrived on being that, as it were, because you could never take your eyes off the action for a moment. There was not one where you could watch your phone. I find it was definitely one where it's like full on attention, which is what you're supposed to do. And they certainly delivered on the mission statement there, because again, Saudi Arabia. Hey, Harry, there was 2 matches on this card.
I know.
2.
I know.
Of course,
it was remarkable. I will say that.
I was going to say at some point, I was going to say yourself as a woman and myself as a queer man. Obviously, we are fully welcome to go and visit the progressive country of Saudi Arabia. So our opinions on this matter are incredibly valid, and so that stands out to me. I've got nothing much else to say. The women rocked.
I will say the bodysuits were on point again compared to when it first began. Oh my God, they were beautiful, especially Chelsea Green's. Her outfit was just amazing, and I do have to say I did love Jade and Bianca's outfit as well. I really like Jade's eye makeup, and we did talk about this afterwards. It was like, how did it stay on? And also because it's so obviously, if you wear makeup and contacts and whatnot or jewelry, and I'm always fearful of like, what if you do like punches to the face? Will they not get in your eye, sort of thing? But it was kind of good. The comparison of like Jade's was like a glass kind of shattering, and Bianca's was like just stars, which is really cool. I did like Io's and Kyrie's as well. They all looked incredible. That's the one thing I do like about it. Obviously, you know, they have to be covered, including the female referees as well. But compared to how they were back in the day, oh my god, the designers top tier in regards to the costume designs. And I really hope that Metaphor do carry on in regards to this. I think it is one of those things, and we did talk about this on the chat last night with NXT. The female stars on there at the moment are just on point. They are so good. So I think moving forward, I would like to see more of Metaphor. And it was a great match. I enjoyed it more than the first match, I will say. And it kind of that woke me up to watch this pay-per-view. Because it's like we've seen so much of the bloodline back and forth now for years now. I'm not gonna lie. And it's kind of like it seems like only yesterday, but it has been going for a very long time. So more of this, please. Really enjoyed it. But then sorry.
Before you move on, we forgot we didn't explain to Jeremy who the Metaphor are.
Is it not the new game by Atlas?
No, unfortunately not, Jeremy. No, not at all. So in case you didn't know, Jeremy, it's a pun on the word metaphor. Were you aware of that? It's a pun on the word metaphor. But
Jeremy
it's the meta, the meta, META, and then the number 4.
Matty,
are you aware that it's a pun on the word metaphor?
Matty, there's 2 of them.
Except in NXT, Jeremy, where there are 4.
Oh, you didn't say that.
I was about to, because in NXT, there are 2 women and 2 men. Those are the 2 women. There were also 2 men. Actually, technically, there might be 5. So technically, even the metaphor doesn't work as the metaphor. But they are led by Scottish sensation Noam Dar.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was the explanation.
Yeah, that tumbleweed just went completely.
You've explained it. No further questions.
Excellent. Harriett.
Moving on. Third match. We're nearly. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I did a thing. Yay me.
Okay. So Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. So this is somewhat I'd say the conclusion to what has been happening of late. So Bronson Reed brutally attacked Seth Rollins weeks ago, giving him, I think, 6 tsunamis in a row, to the point that Seth was bleeding from the mouth, and then he was out injured for a while. Bronson Reed went on a chaos campaign. The last Monster Standing match is still one of my favorite things I have seen this year, and the match prior with Braun Strowman. There's so many Brauns in this. Braun and Bronsons. And a couple of weeks ago, it was announced that this was going to be a match at Crown Jewel, where Seth Rollins was going to face off against Bronson Reed. It was, I think it was just a general match, wasn't it? In total, because we were wondering, because as soon, I mean, we were debating whether or not this was a no false count street fight, whatever, because they hadn't even got to the ring, and they started fighting, and then obviously it kicked off when everyone got in the ring. This was a brutal match. It was good because obviously it showed Bronson in a good way, because he has been really lighting it up in Raw of late, showing how powerful he has been, because obviously there was a few things it was like a stop start for him in regards to things happening out of his control. But it's good now. It's kind of carried on. I mean, the last one was obviously, I think either he was ill or his wife was pregnant. It was just like one of those things that kind of couldn't be helped. But I'm really glad that they got to this match, because I did enjoy this. Like I said, it was brutal. It showed Bronson off of the way that he was just like, you can't mess with me. You should have destroyed me while you had the chance. Didn't. And I honestly thought, I mean, Seth won. I honestly thought Bronson was going to win this, but he didn't look bad afterwards losing, because at the end of that, he looked so cool, because there was a moment where it involved steps where his head was in the steps, Seth done a curve stomp, and then Bronson's eyebrow was just completely split open.
Yeah.
So there was a good visual at the end where he was just staring at Seth, and then the blood's just dripping down his face. And I'm like, how badass can you be? You know, it really
Absolutely.
was like,
Yeah, so I think Ian verbalized it in the WhatsApp, and we were thinking the same thing. It was like, what are they going to do with Bronson Reed now? Like, because he just got, at
Yeah.
that point, he only just got pinned, and then he just shot up. He just shot up and just glared at Seth Rollins with a big, intense anger. Like, oh, he's not even playing dead. Like, that's it. He could literally just go again. So it's like, but the question remains the same. What are you going to do with Bronson Reed now? Like, this is the thing. And what are you going to do with Seth Rollins? Are they going to continue the feud? We had a debate about when a certain Punk would show up, and I think he's just going to show up this Monday. Honest to God, I think that's it. Crown Jewel is over. He's going to turn up on Monday, and we're going to have him and Seth feud. That's where we're heading with this. But what do you do with Bronson Reed? Because this entire whole thing of him just beating the crap out of everyone has an expiry date. How can you use all of that energy and momentum, and where can you move that to? So it's a catch-22 on that one, but I hope to God they do something with him.
Ian's just put something in the chat that Monday's Raw is in Saudi, so it probably won't be this Monday. It
You
probably
might win
be
this
the
bet,
following
Harriet. Oh, you might win this bet.
Oh my gosh!
Me and Harriet may
I
have
never
had a
win
little
bets.
private bet on this.
So if Raw is in Saudi, is it live, or are they taping it and then airing it later?
Considering some people already posted on their Instagram they're traveling back home. Oh, it'd probably be the SmackDown bunch, so they're only retaining some of them.
Yeah. So yes, I'd say the Raw probably people will stay, and some have been flown over. So yeah.
Well, Sean in the chat is saying that Bronson should be moving on for Gunther on Damien. Moving on to the world title feud. Apologies, Sean. My brain is very scattershot today, but I hear you on that. But folks, what do you say?
No, we got to keep Dominic Mysterio strong, brother. That's what we got to do. Shoot him straight up to the sky, everybody.
Because they have announced a four-way. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know they're trying to throw the whole thing with Judgment Day into it. I don't see Damian Priest going for that for a while. I think the whole thing with Judgment Day with him and Finn's going to continue because,
this feud must continue.
Because yes, it just seems to be going on, and it seems to be like the whole build up with Judgment Day is kind of circling around other things, which we will lead on in a minute to the next match. But yeah, I'm worried in regards to going forward. What's going to happen with Bronson? I think we are in agreement that Seth is definitely going to fight with Punk because that hasn't finished. It kind of stopped at SummerSlam, and then kind of the Raw after stopped again, and then obviously it was the whole Punk versus Drew McIntyre, which then that's all done. So obviously you have this bad blood literally with Seth and Punk because they don't like each other. Seth has said some stuff about Punk outside of WWE where it's just like, well, they're not going to let this go. So that's your next feud, I think. But in regards to Bronson, I don't know, but I really, really hope they do not waste the potential on him. I really don't.
So I'll throw out an idea with absolutely no knowledge of what's going on TV in general for WWE. Give me Bronson versus Bron Breakker. That would be a good laugh.
If it
Do you know
wasn't
what?
for
Yes.
Goldberg, we probably would have had that because he was babyface for an entire 7 days, Jeremy. They turned him babyface and immediately turned him back heel.
That
was
was so
ridiculous.
weird. That was just like that redo button was just like
Oh, yeah.
literally.
Now let's have a think about this because, you know, when you're speaking as someone who's clearly not an athlete based on my body, but when you exercise and stuff, you like to sometimes have a cheat day. Maybe Bron wanted a cheat week just to see what it was like to be a good guy. And he went, nah, prefer being this. And then decided to just go back to being a bad guy. Well, nope, this is much more fun. So there you go. He had a cheat week.
This doesn't agree with the diet I want to do, Hex Spear.
To be fair, I would imagine as a wrestler, it's always way more fun to be a heel. Because trying to keep people to like you as a babyface is the hardest part. Like,
Oh god,
for
yeah.
realsies.
Yeah. I mean, we have
Cody
seen
Rhodes
through
turns
so
heel.
many championships. Yeah, this
Oh.
is it. We've seen through so many things where it turns. Go on, Matty.
I won't say what I call him away from these recordings. Harriett's now heard that word so many times last night. Jeremy, I have a theory, and I don't think that Kevin Owens is a heel at all for his actions. I think Cody said something to him which finally made him snap, and that's why we got the beat down. And for some reason, they've obviously supplanted this over to Randy Orton, who has also been in the past a notorious prick. And yet, like everywhere else, every time he's interviewed, he's completely valid in his reasoning. He has not changed his behavior one iota. He hasn't changed his demeanor one iota. He's still the same Kevin Owens consistently from this entire year so far. We haven't heard anything about the Cody side of that. Not one bit. In fact, they've gone out of their way to completely 100% protect him. What if Cody let his mask slip and we never heard what he actually said to Kevin? What if this entire time Cody has been a secret heel the entire time and we just haven't seen it? That's my headcanon going into this anyway.
So how many years into the future are you thinking, Matty?
It's WWE, 6 months.
No, it's
Honestly,
a week.
It is a cool theory, but they will have to weave it a certain way to make it work.
Yes.
Oh, one thing Triple H has been doing an awful lot as of late is long-term storytelling. And let's face it, a lot of the stuff that happened in Crown Jewel here was just product placement for the progression of storylines going into this coming week onwards. So, yeah. So who knows at this stage? I think it's a neat concept. I think we could see the seeds being sowed for a Cody heel turn because he can play it. In fact, he has a ring on his finger again now. Last time he had one of those, he was in ROH and was a total dickhead. So
I think this will be your next year's pay-per-view main event for WrestleMania. Night 1 or night 2. I don't know which one. But yeah, I think the roles will be reversed because, yeah.
They got to get
I think
Cody
it is one of those
out of the way
things.
first, though.
Yeah, the comment from Sean
I don't know
in the chat
when that will
is
be.
a very good theory.
Yeah, very good theory. When it will happen, I don't know, but it is something I am kind of like eager to know what happens going forward. Any final thoughts before
that happens?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. So next we had the first of the Crown Jewel Championship matches, including Jeremy. Prepare yourself for this. CGI camels.
Sorry, what?
So you know how WWE likes to do these graphics. I am waiting for Ian's response to this, but yes. So for both the championships, nothing yet, but yes. So you know how they have like these graphics at the beginning of most pay-per-views. You know how they kind of describe the titles of or show the titles in full. So they, yeah, pretty much. They had like a whole row of camels drag the championship or carry the championship. That's how they displayed it. But instead, they
Now,
just switched the graphics from white to black because obviously men's, women's sort of thing.
So
Ghost
I
camels, there you are.
I need to clarify. So
Yes.
was it the CGI camels taking the
Yes.
belt to the ring?
Yes, it was like a CGI camels literally just dragging the belt to the ring. This is how we started it off. The match hadn't even begun yet, and we were already like, "What the hell is going on?"
So I feel the need to point out. Now, I've not been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to Abu Dhabi, so you know it's sort of in that realm of the world, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
They have actual camels.
Yeah, I know.
Had they gone on overtime or something? What happened? Did it just like CGI in? How did the belt get in the ring? Just carry on.
Magic.
Technology.
I was heading away from the ring.
They were running. They were like, "Nah, we're done with this." They were like, "We've seen what this belt looks like. We know what the rings look like. We're out of here." Yeah. So this was the women's. This was Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax, obviously the respective champions of each of their brands. Obviously, both of them have baggage amongst their own championships. So we had Liv Morgan with Rhea Ripley, who earlier on in the week was that NXT parking lot has a lot to speak for itself, but basically was beaten up with bats and I'd say wooden mallets, I suppose, against Liv and Raquel pretty much beat up Rhea to the point where she is now injured indefinitely, but it is a legit injury. But that's how they played it into it. Like she was, pretty much. So yeah, she's going to be out for a bit. But in the storyline, it was basically Liv's way of saying, well, she can't interfere during our match, which that's a good way of playing into the storyline. She was accompanied to the ring with Raquel and Dirty Dom. So Dirty Dom was away from looking after the cat because we hadn't like before. That's what he was doing. That's just the reason why he was. Anyway, this whole cat thing is weird. And then obviously Nia Jax is still ongoing with Tiffany Stratton with the cash-ins and Nia basically quote unquote kind of bullying her in regards to you're not cashing this championship on me. All of them play pivotal roles in this match throughout, but as Matty says, Nia's costume was pretty much the Crown Jewel logo, so it was literally gold and green, pretty much dominant, but she looked great. Liv came out to pretty much, as we described, a Britney Spears kind of catsuit, but all in black with Judgment Day kind of embroidered here. The match itself
it was the Oops, I Did It Again costume, was it?
Pretty much. I mean, the match itself was okay. I was expecting Nia to win. Didn't happen. I mean, there was a couple of botches again with Nia. It wasn't as bad as Bad Blood, though, I will say, because Bad Blood was just like, oh, go on.
Can I surmise a theory behind that?
Yes, carry on.
So Gunter and Nia Jax were also involved in the King and Queen of the Ring.
Yes.
And both of them were the winners of those. So they then became the opponents for the eventual winners of the Crown Jewel Championships.
Never thought of that, actually. That's a fair point. And that is good. But it was literally David and Goliath again match. So I think in the end, the numbers game did play against Nia. And also the fact we did had another attempted cash in from Tiffany. And her outfit, I'm not going to lie, just reminded me of like a magical girl. It's just like pure yellow with a heart decal in the middle with bright pink boots.
Yeah.
And it was just like so distracting. I just couldn't really concentrate on the match. It was just I think
Yumi and Phelp, who was with us through our Discord watch along last night, we started talking about, has there ever been a point in Sailor Moon or any Magical Girl franchise where somebody literally stopped somebody from transforming in the middle of their transformation sequence? And I think there
yeah.
was in Sailor Moon, but they meant in the actual transformation animation in itself. And
Yeah.
to which I don't think there has been. But if it was, this would have been the perfect time to pull that out.
Mm. Also, another thing, they were both heels in this match, so it's kind of
Yeah.
like, well,
How would Tiffany Stratton cashing in the Money in the Bank during a Crown Jewel match
yeah.
work out? Would she win the title and the ring?
I
Like,
mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because Ian brought it up on WhatsApp and in the chat just now.
Mm.
I'm like, yeah, how would that have worked? It really was just kind of very confusing. I'm guessing like whoever won, or so like for example, was she pinned Liv, it would have turned into a complete different match. So I'm not sure. Yeah, it's very kind of weird logistically how it would have been done. They'd have to completely change the match, cancel what's happened. Yeah, I think if anything, she should have left it like till the very end of the match and then to pin someone. But
We
She's
got
just
confused.
a third person.
We got
Yeah.
confused as well because it looked like the referee was about to cash it in, and then they never brought it up again since.
No, because Dom threw it into the ring as a distraction and then went around to distract the referee. This is where the numbers game kicked in. So Dom threw the thing in, the referee grabbed it. Dom distracted the referee. It looked like it was going to be a cash in, and then Raquel attacked Nia, and then that's how Liv got the pin. Obviously, this whole storyline with Tiffy and Nia is still going to continue. Again, I don't think this was the right time for her to cash in, but obviously, it's kind of her character to be kind of like, will she, won't she, sort of thing. But obviously, if you had two champions, she did actually say to Nia, because Nia was like, "What are you doing out here?" And she's like, "No, I was totally going to cash in on Liv. I swear, honestly, promise me, please don't kill me." Sort of thing. She is that kind of dynamic relationship at the moment where it's just like, you know, the turn is going to happen. You know that Tiffany is going to cash in on Nia. It's just like a slow build up to it, but it was just the wrong time of the match to do it. But obviously, I can understand why, because obviously you needed more people on Nia's side, really, to help with the numbers game, and she did kind of influence the match with the case. I will say this. So I don't know, but Liv is now the champion. She's the first one of this caliber, and yeah, and she cried afterwards. We did have a counter game of how many times she did cry during this, and it was a lot. Especially this show, post show as well. But you know, congrats to her. I'm happy that, you know, that obviously they had the Queen and King of the Ring. I am glad that they're kind of getting this glory, so to speak. And the fact that there were two matches for the women in this pay-per-view was great. So in all, in my thoughts, I wasn't my favorite match, but it was just your usual like David and Goliath match, which we had last month, but with just a new championship and a nice ring at the end of it.
Bling bling, dollar dollar. Golf carts. There were golf carts, Harry.
Oh no, I forgot about the golf carts.
At the risk of fast forwarding over to the Cody match, there was a point during our little Discord watch along where, having watched the presentation, the initial presentation, where it was practically just Triple H giving the title to Liv, and that was it. When we then fast forwarded over to Cody, and not only did he get Triple H, he got what was seemingly the entire royal family come out there to present him with his title. I then flipped the bird, called bullcrap on it, and walked out the room to make myself a drink, because it's give that to Liv as well, you pricks. And then they brought out Liv and immediately undercut what my mentality was.
Yep. Matty legitimately got up, walked out the room, and was not seen for like 3 minutes.
Fair play.
Or 2, I don't know, but
it wasn't
there was the whole double standards of like, no, but it was just like, I do agree. It's like at least Triple H like was able to give the belts to both the champions, and obviously showing off
And
these
then
are my
rip 'em
champions. This is what
away.
we do.
Oh,
I
Jerry, we
mean,
will get
that
to
didn't happen.
that.
Oh, we'll get to that. So
We
yeah,
will get
pretty
to that.
much. Yep, I think. Yeah, it was what it was. I mean, fair play to Liv for winning. Emotional at the end, but yes. But now, next, we had a match that didn't actually happen. So
It
this
did.
whole build up,
It
it kind of did and it
It did.
didn't. So it didn't actually. Yeah. So you know how we were talking
It
about
was-
Randy and Kevin earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This was the match that was supposed to happen, and we brought out the Soundometer again. It debuted for the first time because obviously everyone loves singing along to Randy Orton. So Kevin Owens had already had his intro, sat like at the corner of where the announcers were, just visually chilling, waiting for Randy to casually jaunter down the aisle, everyone singing along. Did this whole thing of I can't do it because I'm in the small frame, but obviously did that. Match never happened. Owen, there you go. That's a perfect way to do it. Owens attacked Randy with a chair, and then shenanigans happened. So many officials came out, referees, even GMs came out at one point, and it was just like, do you know what? Screw you all. I'm not going to do it. Literally, there was no match that happened in the end. I think they did call it off, didn't they? Because I didn't actually hear this. I only saw it afterwards in messages that the officials basically said there is no match now.
No.
Pretty much.
No, it was just a Kurt Angle. It was literally just a Kurt Angle to feed into whatever they're going to do. Probably a War Games.
Yeah,
That's literally what it is. It's literally the mission statement of Crown Jewel was just to set up War Games. That's ultimately what it was. So dumb, but fun.
Yeah.
And of course, later on we had the interview.
Yeah, I
mean, we were going to have the interview. We had the interview with Kevin Owens afterwards, in which I pointed out his demeanor didn't shift one iota. In fact, he was joking around at some point. This literally is a match that they're going to have at War Games, or probably the SmackDown before War Games. But it's like the entire thing was, now we're going to set all our pieces up in our nice little board game and see if we can draw higher or lower to get to the next step. Sorry, Jeremy, I know there's PTSD there. But yeah, sorry, Harriet, I digress. Carry on.
No, it's because I was just going to say that, I mean, Adam Pearce got an RKO just for the fun of it, because why not? Yeah, like I said, so many officials tried to pull it apart, and then it ended off with they went out to the crowd. Randy was placed on like a crate, and then Kevin Owens climbed on top, did like a splash onto to Randy, and it had like a nice visual where it like panned away as they were both kind of lying there. And it's quite funny, ironically, when we saw Kevin later on when they were interviewing him on the crate. I don't know if it was the same crate, but it would have been funny if it was. And that's pretty much how it ended. And yeah, no contest. That was it. I think a lot of people probably would have been mad there wasn't a match. I honestly wasn't expecting a lot from it from this match. I think this was a good way of telling the story going forward of Kevin Owens basically having something to say, but the mysteriousness behind this of like what is going on, and we still don't know what's going on. It's like Fables, Wolf Among Us, my lips are sealed sort of thing. It's like no one is telling anyone anything. So I like the intrigue and build up to this. Do you have any more thoughts? Because that's pretty much, it's very short and sweet in regards to this.
My thought about this wasn't so much from Crown Jewel. It was from SmackDown about a week or two ago when Randy Orton outright called out Triple H and basically strong-armed him into giving him this match in the first place. Whatever's going on, there's strong involvement from the higher ups. And I still think that Cody and ergo whatever's going on with him and Kevin is totally a hotbed for whatever's going to happen down the road.
Yep.
So this brings up an interesting question, which has actually come up in our YouTube chat. In
Mm.
the Randy v Owen for the 6th time, not interesting. Are you folks actually interested in what they are doing currently? Do you have the same sentiment? Any thoughts?
I think that this is pretty much going to be feeding back into Owens versus Cody at some point, because this started with Owens and Cody. It's going to finish with Owens and Cody, but they've obviously got other plans for Cody in the meantime. So this is their way of circumnavigating around that and then coming back to it later. So I think Randy is literally a placeholder.
Yeah, I believe that as well. I think this is just basically a way to fill in the time, because obviously Cody had his own match of his own. They didn't even feature that at all or bring that into the fray at all in this. So this was pretty much a gap in between what will happen from now on. When it will escalate, I don't know. It could be a whole build up to Rumble, probably.
Yeah,
I'd say
it's probably a Kevin Owens and Randy Orton championship match at Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
do you
That's
know
what
what?
I
I
think.
believe
It's
so.
we've. I'm not. This stat has kind of blown my mind. It's just appeared in our YouTube chat. I'll just put it on the screen and read it. Randy v Owens' last great match was 2019, a Falls Count Anywhere match. 2019.
My
Well,
God,
that's
we're what, 20?
that was the before times, you know.
I mean, when it gets to when it gets to Randy Orton versus John Cena levels, then we can complain.
Oh, by the way, I should clarify my comment. I mean, as in, I genuinely had forgotten they had a match in 2019. That's more what I was reacting to, as opposed to saying that was the last great match they had. You've just blown my mind that they have had that matches that long now, more than anything. That's what I meant. Just to clarify.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no, it's fine.
Incredible. It really is. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is what's going to be one of the big feuds. I think going towards the winter, in the winter and the new year, because obviously summer closing, we need new stuff. I'm really, this is the one thing that's intriguing me at the moment in regards to wrestling in WWE. Like I said, I'm bored with the bloodline. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like, but this has really like, okay, I really want to know what this secret is. It's just like SpongeBob and Patrick with the box. Like, what's the secret compartment in this box? Like, I really want to know what this is.
So what I'm hearing, Harriet, is
Yes,
it's on the borderline.
but
Why? Why, Jeremy?
Why?
My work here is done. Please continue, Trent.
I don't really know how else to follow that up, apart from, I suppose, the penultimate match of the pay-per-view, which I consider my favorite match of the night. For the US title, this was LA Knight versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes in a triple threat match. So this was decided, I think, last. Yep, that's pretty much what my sentiments was as well. I've just seen Ian's ...
Yeah.
I visually heard that from all the way from here.
Best of 7 match. That was
yes.
Where was this? We know where it headed. It headed to Nowheresville. That's where it bloody headed to. What was the point of any of this? Holy! I'm done. Carry on.
Okay. As Matty said. So Carmelo Hayes and Andrade have been having the best of 7 matches. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It pretty much went to like a tie. And then Carmelo was special guest referee, I think, for the final.
No.
No.
So the final match was Andrade and Carmelo with LA Knight as the special guest referee, who promised to call it down the middle. He did, by causing a no-win draw and taking them both out. So on the 7th match, LA Knight took them both out and called a draw.
I was so confused going into this match. I was like, who's face? Who's heel?
Not LA Knight. Not LA Knight at all.
It could have been an 8th match in a best of 7 series, you know. How would you have felt about that?
That's what this one was, Jamie.
That's what this one was.
Oh, okay. Well.
But to be fair, I really enjoyed it, because this was the match I was kind of like, I'm not too sure about this, But oh my god, I loved it. It was just like pretty much beginning to end. Even the ending, like the before the pin, that was just like, oh. But I don't. Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. It really needed to kind of spruce up the pay-per-view. I'm not gonna lie, because it was kind of like faltering a bit after a couple of matches. Obviously, then they had the no match time before that. The crowd, I think, didn't enjoy that. So this really boosted it boosted me anyway, because I absolutely loved this match. But I don't know though going forward, because LA Knight won. What's gonna happen with Carmelo and Andrade now? What's gonna happen?
He made them both he just rendered the whole bloody feud pointless, so utterly pointless. And I will say, I do agree with you about the match. Andrade in particular did a blinder of a blinking performance during that. At which point I turned to Harriet and I said, you'd be really shocked and surprised to know that Andrade isn't really happy in his place in the company at the moment. And went, oh, the shock.
I literally just went, and I said, I think my words were, water is wet.
Well, the Continental Classic starts in AEW in about a month or so's time, so you know.
He was one of the biggest parts of that as well last year. Oh man, looking forward to that. But I like the match, but what the hell?
Yeah,
just what the hell?
Match was great, but also, okay, what happens next? I don't know. I honestly was expecting Carmelo to actually win this, to be fair, and then kind of have a last match between him and Andrade, where you could then decide who would win, and they'd guarantee, but obviously they want to keep the belt on LA Knight. It was his birthday, I think, this weekend as well, so happy birthday, LA Knight, to him. There's your celebration, you win the match. I don't know.
I just had a thought. Would the end result is that Carmelo Hayes and Andrade form a tag team? Maybe they could even set the bar.
I mean,
that's a different tag.
Like they didn't set the bar; they are the bar. I'm implying, Harriet, that those two also had a set of 7 matches, and that was the end result of that.
Yeah, it took me a moment.
I thought you talked about Claudio and Sheamus. Sorry. So, comment from the chat here. What next for LA Knight? For me, Trade American made to SmackDown and Chad Gable beats LA Knight. Harriet, immediate thoughts on that?
I mean, with American Alpha and Chad Gable, it's just like, I think they're starting to, I suppose it would be good, because they're just slowly starting to garner their roots in regards to as like a whole new team, because obviously we've only seen them against the Wyatt Six, and then a few more matches on Raw. So I don't know. I mean, it'd be good, but
is it something you'd be interested in seeing? Let's rephrase the question. Would you be interested in seeing that?
I probably would, because it would be nice to, because I don't think Chad actually won a singles championship yet. Well, then yeah, I'd be interested for him to win it, because I think he that was it. He was for the Intercontinental Championship, obviously Sammy, and that's the reason why he went down the path of being heel. Yeah, I'd be interested. I'd like to see it if it was a thing. I don't know if it would, but
it was nice to see that the experiments in cloning Kurt Angle worked 3 times over. And then they added a bit of excess DNA and splicey, and we had an Ivy Nile out of that. That's all I'm saying.
Excess DNA is not a phrase I thought I'd hear on the show today, but there you go.
Yeah. I mean, Kurt Angle's been around a bit. There's been plenty of excess to go around. But anyway.
I think Ian's brought up a great thing. If they were a tag team, I think he's put Andrade Hayes and Metal City Machine Guns, because they've just Motor City Machine Guns. They've recently become SmackDown's newest tag team, and now they are the tag champs. Oh, I'd like to see that. Yes, please. Yes, please. That would be good. But also the whole thing of Hayes and Andrade. How will they coexist? Sort of thing.
What if they were called? Okay. Keep it I've got a thought. So, what if their
Lebar.
tag team name was Andrade-Haynes? Andrade-Haynes.
You thought that one up all night? Did you?
No,
did you,
this
did
is
you...
this is what happens, Matty.
Yeah.
When my brain is just
Right.
shot. This is the quality content people never asked for from me.
Hold on.
And you can find Giraffe-Me improv channel over on Giraffe-Me Plays. He'll tell you how to bend a disc.
So, in an attempt to try and restore order now that I've broken everything. So, from what I can gather from what you've described about the entire show, and if you're still going to talk about the main event, do just cut me off now. But it sounds like if you watched it, it was all right, but you could pretty much skip everything on this.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I will lead into the main event because that is our last one. And this is, again, champion versus champion, Gunther versus Cody Rhodes. I will admit I wasn't invested in this match. I had to rewatch it, but it was an okay match. I enjoyed it. It was like very much trying to knock each other out, but like basically Cody trying to knock out Gunther in so many ways, and I didn't mind this match. I enjoyed it. I mean, with a Gunther match, you're always going to get loads of slaps against chest, and oh my god, Cody was pretty much just red raw by the end of it. Oh my lord, he really was.
Was this match... So, if anyone's a new viewer, I don't get time to watch WWE stuff. I don't have much access to it, so I'm sort of being of an impartial thought here. But I recall them meeting, obviously, at the end of 2 Rumbles, or throughout the course of 2 Rumble matches, but is this their first singles encounter? Or have they had a match before? I'm sort of, the reason I ask is more from a hype point of view, regardless of this Crown Jewel Championship malarkey. Were you excited to see the match as in general?
Yeah,
I think the build up to it was good, especially the Raw prior, because Gunther has been acting as an amazing heel, by the way. And obviously with the whole thing with Goldberg and the build up to that, it's going to happen. I think the best part of this was the denial of the woe. So basically on Raw, Cody comes out to the ring, does his whole woe thing. Gunther's music cuts in pretty much before the woe kicks in. The crowd's already done it. It's like what sort of thing. Which is brilliant. And also another thing, I didn't realize this until last night. There was a kid in the crowd who they kept on panning to, and I didn't realize why. He had the Cody mask on. I knew that, obviously, like the skeleton mask he wears. Gunther went up to the kid, and I think they shook each other's hand, which was like, oh, incredible. And I was like, I love Gunther as a heel. He's amazing. And then obviously the build up to this has been great. So I was looking forward to this match. And like you said, I honestly thought Gunther was going to win, but as you said earlier before, Matty, both those champions in each other's matches had won King and Queen of the Ring. So it made sense for them not to win. But I kind of like the fact that Cody has won, because if this does build up his like repertoire of being a heel, this is a good way of claiming to have that. Also, they did say like he'd be the first Rhodes or something like to win a championship outside of I don't know, I can't remember off the top of it, but they did say he would be a new a record of some sort.
There was a lot of first-time evers in which they also at many points said this is for the first time ever a title championship belt created for Saudi Arabia will be fought for, and I was like, well, screw the Greatest Royal Rumble title belt then, I guess. They completely retconned that out of existence.
That's because it was the greatest, Matty. It can't be topped. Therefore, they must just make you forget about it and never to return.
And the same for the Crown Jewel titles, Jeremy. So that's it. We don't need any more world champions. Don't have them for all year round. Just have your championship defended once, in Saudi Arabia every year, because that's the ultimate prize, Jeremy. That is the ultimate prize. Also, you get a fancy ring out of it.
I look forward to that ring being used as someone having a little dent on their forehead when Cody punches them with it. And then that will be how it is then works into an actual canon storyline.
Oh my god, that
wow.
can happen.
And at that point, then
Kevin
it's basically
takes
MJF
it.
with a diamond ring.
Which
Oh god,
Cody
yeah,
did,
it is going to be like
which
that.
Cody did first in Ring of Honor, but then even before that, Diamond Dallas Page did that for the longest time in WCW. So, yeah. Also, yeah, I had a thought and it's disappeared out of my head. So, Harriett, be good. Please put me out of my misery. Can we talk about the main event? Not the real main event.
Oh,
the main
yes,
event being
we will. So
the
basically,
presentations.
okay, let me round this off and then we will go into that. So basically, Cody did win with I think it was a back sweep, and it was kind of a weird pin. That's how he won. Gunther showed his respect by shaking Cody's hand at the end of the match. Triple H came out, as we said earlier, with the Saudi Arabian royal family. I believe I got that wrong. I apologize. But then Liv afterwards, they had like a grand finale of everyone. Here's your photo opportunity. And then it was just left with Cody and Liv in the ring. The show ended, and then we got to the post show, which was like, do you know what? It got to the point even Matty had to break out the snacks.
This is good shit,
like,
everyone. This is what we came to see. Awkwardness.
So,
yay!
So, do you want to explain, or shall I?
Oh,
I think you're eager to talk about this, so I will leave this to you.
So we've been having this thing with WWE PLEs where it's not just the main show, like the pre-show literally moves seamlessly from it directly into the show now. And ergo, the main show then moves seamlessly into the post-show. And what we got was we had all the presentations in the ring, in which I disappeared for a little bit because I thought they weren't going to bring Liv back, and they did. So I recant my previous statement of F you all. But then what we had was we had a little bit of banter between them all while the commentary team sort of like spoke. And then we had Cody Rhodes and Liv Morgan shuffled off along with I'm guessing it's the royal family. Yeah, it was pretty much like that. They were being gestured over. We watched as they were like put in a couple of golf carts. Cody and Liv like side by side in one of them, having a very pleasant conversation that we didn't hear, but it was like Liv a heel, Cody is the babyface, and they're just having very pleasant conversations as they go along, like the best of friends. Which I say, Cody is a secret bastard. He's probably talking about kicking that kitten at any point. I'll read this out. The Crown Michael Cole commentary. And here's the Crown Jewel procession of golf buggies. The title's being tucked away. They have so many carrots, don't you know? I miss Pat. There was so many jewels. They gave us, Jeremy, they showed at one point the title belts and how many stones it took to make the belts with. They had stats on how many diamonds, how many precious jewels it took, the leather, the whole lot. They gave us stats, Jeremy. But anyway, as they were
tape for these championship belts,
pretty much,
we had a procession of golf carts head from the venue directly to the new Jeremy, first time ever WWE experience, where the Hall of Fame, the physical Hall of Fame, is at now.
Yeah, the one that everyone can easily get to, you know.
It felt like
exactly.
It felt like a royal event here in Britain, basically. It was like, and as we noticed, the carts are now making their way towards the venue. And soon we will be having a special presentation where they will be bequeathing their titles in placement of the official rings. And so we had all of that. They went up to the venue. And then both Liv and Cody had a little special moment where they were shown to have photos taken with them holding the title and then essentially giving them up. And the belts, they already had the little DTOP displays ready for them. So they gave them the titles. The titles were put in their special plinth in their little DTOP things. They made sure they double locked that afterwards. And then they gave them the presentation of the ring. Do you know, Jamie? The ring. The ring. The ring, I'm sure that is going to be very important all year long, because this is what it's always about. This is the most historic of occasions, Jeremy. This is the titles where it is the championships of championships. World champions face off to have this championship. It's very important, this championship. I'm sure it won't be forgotten about on Monday.
May I specify the ring?
The ring. The ring. And Cody, of course, being him, is like, mwah, 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 yeah, look at my bling. Look at my bling. Oh, this is gorgeous. MJF, you better out. You know, you're going to fight for this ring now. And it's like,
and
MJF is going
the
to be
thing
in that
is,
company for a while.
with Liv, I had an inside joke in my head thinking Dominic's probably fit because it was a giant ring on her middle finger here. And he's probably thinking, God, have I ever like fake proposed to her sort of thing? That ring is going to be like double the size.
Yeah. It was incredibly awkward. It was dumb. I understand the historical importance of it for if you were in Saudi Arabia. But on the long-lasting like end of things, not really.
It's so important it was on the post show.
I mean, they even showed the King and Queen of the Ring crowns that were
yes, they're right beside them.
Yes, they're next to each other. So more of a display.
I think that's implying that the King and Queen of the Ring is basically going to be an annual thing over there going forward as well.
Do you know what? I did a sorry, go on.
No, go on.
I was gonna say I saw a tweet not long before we began, and it had Selena Vega and Xavier Woods of how it began and how it ended, or how it started and how it ended, and it has them in their King and Queen of the Ring crowns on the first photo, and the second photo of them just sitting in the crowd, just like, it's just like, oh dear, because obviously they won 2 years ago. It wasn't this year; it was prior, wasn't it?
What? The King and Queen of the Ring? Oh, it was this year.
No, it wasn't this year because Nia won.
Selena and
it
Xavier.
was Gunther.
Oh, yeah. No, it was Nia Jax and Gunther won them this year because that's why they got into the SummerSlam main event.
Yeah, but no, Selena and Selena and Xavier. They won like 2 years. Yeah, Xavier Woods. Sorry. Yeah, so it's just like
I think I know what they were talking to each other about in the golf buggy, Cody and Liv. I can imagine they got in the golf buggy and they were both just like, so damn hot out here. I can't wait to get in the aircon.
I mean, especially Liv and like what she was wearing. I mean, blimey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, like I said,
lucky he got his tits out.
So like I said before you started the main event, you can miss this show, but if you watch it, you'll probably enjoy something.
Yeah. I don't think they'll show highlights of it on Raw per se stuff.
No.
Yeah.
I would be forgotten about. They'll have a quick slice and then it's like yeah.
Yeah, I've just seen in the chat. Like I think Selena, it was pre-COVID, I think. But it's just like the chalk and cheese of like but then to be fair, Xavier's in a good storyline at the moment on Raw. So that's another interesting kind of thing Vega, I think, is also in the storyline with American Alpha, I think, as well. So,
Liv is there to be beat, like... unfortunately.
Yeah.
Vega, I mean, not Liv.
Yeah, no, it's just well, at least one out of the two. Well, I suppose, and that's another thing with Raw. Actually, this can lead on to nicely in regards to like our little chat in regards to wrestling as a whole. Raw being reduced to 2 hours. How are people enjoying that? Because obviously this is like the third week or fourth week. This is now a thing.
I've been liking the pace. I honestly, I haven't really been watching the Raws all that much. Sorry, go on, Jeremy. I'm sorry.
I was going to say I didn't even know it was 2 hours.
They have
Yeah.
produced it for the last few weeks now, and they did record one episode back to back. It was pretty much known because the first episode wasn't so great. Second one, good, and then this Monday one coming up is the fourth one. So we are coming into the thing of it being. I don't know if it's going to be still 2 hours going into Netflix. We shall see.
Oh,
But-
for Netflix, it's gonna be a 10-hour show. You know,
You gotta make sure you binge all of it.
Oh
Literally.
god, yeah.
Netflix has been pretty good lately on having things like dotted out. So it's not like here's the
Yes.
entire show, go consume it now. Consume. So I've
I
been
think we're at the
enjoying a
stage,
few
yeah,
shows.
of that.
Hmm.
I think we're at the stage now. People are fed up with binging, so yeah.
I've been hearing a little bit of chanting from other places saying they really missed that third hour, to which I'll say, are you actual buffoons? Like, no. Like, if you're worried about the pacing being like off or too fast, it's like, just get better planning for your 2 hour show. Make the 1 hour shows like significant for your smaller undercards. Like, just it's doable.
if any show is going to go over to 3 hours, it'll be SmackDown.
Oh yeah, because it'll be on a network.
Yeah, it did for the first week when it moved back to Fox, I think, because obviously 3 hour special. I think there was rumor of it being free out, like the Switch, which is kind of weird because roster size is kind of a bit chalk and cheese. So I don't know, because there's more on Raw than there is on SmackDown, but I don't know. We'll see.
But what about the likes of Main Event or Superstars? You know, the other shows that people all watch.
Well, to be fair, we do have Saturday night's Main Event coming up soon, so that could be a way to highlight people. But yeah,
What about Speed?
I don't know.
Oh, God, what about
they've introduced the women's Speed now. I know that. Which I haven't watched. I'm not up to date with Speed.
It's Candice LeRae.
Oh, is she the champion?
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Yeah. It'd be nice
awesome.
if they give her some stuff. Yeah, Candice is amazing. It's a shame WWE don't really think so.
No, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like I don't mind the Speed Championships, but can you please?
They are where they are.
Yeah, it is one of those things of like, yeah, you are focusing on one thing, but unfortunately, if it's only on X or Twitter, I don't. Yeah, I have gripes with Speed, but.
By the way, for those of you watching, so we're talking about our PLE segues. We have segued into the what I'm calling the loosey goosey anyway. So we're now just literally talking about anything else in wrestling we don't have time for in our reviews. And Speed Champions are a thing, but also, you know what's an even bigger thing? Samantha Irvin just buggering off. Like,
oh my
what a
God.
talent!
Do you know what?
Yeah.
That legitimately shocked me because you know how much I respect her and admire her. She has been incredible announcer. Like, she has iconic moments, like the whole Chelsea Green. That's now immortalized forever, thanks to her. We even have the moments of when Cody won WrestleMania 40. Like, there's so many videos of her reacting, like during matches, but that's the definitive one of her like crying with emotion at the end, and how she held it together announcing that winner was incredible. I think my personal favorite is with her and Rhea. I think it was a house show, and Rhea was just like flirting with Samantha, and it was just like Rhea just going sort of thing, and then Samantha's just like, what do I do? And then like Rhea's just like toying, like teasing her, flirting with her, and then just gets up, walks away, and then someone asks her, how did you find that? And she just went, kind of liked it, and then just burst out laughing, and that's how the clip ended. But it's just like, love moments like that where it's just like the human side to WWE. I know she has been very vocal about it on social media in regards to how things happened and how she wanted things to progress, and unfortunately didn't happen. And I think at the moment, from what I think I saw a headline this morning or yesterday that WWE aren't happy with it, which
I
kind of
think-
understandable, but also she has that will to say anything because she's now not working with WWE anymore, I don't think. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why people like are now hating. Like, she did a job.
Yeah.
She did a job for the best of her ability and was damn good at it. At the end of the day, you could be absolutely incredible at a job and not necessarily be happy doing it.
yes.
And from what I'm basically getting here, she just wasn't happy doing the job that she
Yeah.
was tasked to do, and hence why she's gone. Why hate someone for that? We've all been in that situation where people think this is the best that you are good at. This is what you're doing, but I would like to do more. I would like to do something else. You know, all power to her for that. Absolutely fine. I've got no gripe with her whatsoever. Like, social media thing has been a problem across the board outside of WWE anyway. And once you're out of the WWE sort of infrastructure, that's your social media no longer being vetted. Like, she's got every right to defend Ricochet. That's her fiance. Like, don't hate on her for that. Of course she's biased. That's her fiance. That's the love of her life. Just step off. Don't say, "Oh, well, you're always
people
shit
are like
anyway."
that on social anyway.
Like,
Yeah,
there's people that
they
that
find-
literally, there's people turning on her saying, "Well, she was always shit anyway." Are you for real? Like, are you
and
for
so
real?
look,
She was one of the best.
Sorry, what I was going to say is I can imagine that she may get brought back in for special occasions. So, for example, a WrestleMania. Like, have her announce the main event, maybe. Kind of like make it almost like a special attraction, equivalent of that of like a Michael Buffer in boxing type thing. Or when he used to do like WCW pay-per-view event, like main events and stuff. Like, make it that when you hear their voice, like when Howard Finkel would come back every so often and do a particular match. I can imagine that being something. But at the end of the day, in fact, actually, you know what? I actually agree with what's just been posted in YouTube chat, so I'm just going to actually bring it up on screen. It's like, because wrestling fans want to see that person stay in one place forever, not bet on yourself. It is very, very true. It's just, sometimes people just need a change. You know, people have gone away and come back to wrestling, have been refreshed, rejuvenated, or got a whole new edge to them, as it were. Sometimes you just need a change of scenery. And I don't think she's, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to assume she's not come out and say she'll never go back to work with WWE. It's literally my contract's done. I want to do something else.
Yeah. So the way she initially handled her social media on the day that she announced that she had left was incredibly professional. She thanked everybody for giving her the opportunity, etc., etc. So I don't see the hate on that one. She gave everyone their flowers on her way out the door. Whatever she does past that point, it hasn't been exactly like hugely like scandalous. She's made some very salient points of why she left. You know, people want to know why. She gave them the reasons why. I will say this for people that are saying, well, now she's burnt her bridges. Cody Rhodes, I'm going to say Cody Rhodes spent about a couple of years going around all the independents slagging off the WWE. He spent the very first show of AEW smashing a metaphorical throne implicating Triple H. The booker that made him WWE champion this year when he went back. Cody Rhodes is the ultimate politician. And you could say that, well, obviously he's not coming back. Everything he's ever strived to do has been work to put himself higher up on the echelon. And it works. CM Punk has said multiple things in multiple places how he would never go back to the WWE. He literally said on his first show in AEW that there was no way he'd ever go back to the place for him to focus on getting well. He would never go back to the place that made him ill to begin with. He came back to Survivor Series last year and is now bigger than he ever was before. You know, never say never. And no matter whatever gets said, anyone is always welcome back in the WWE if they see the big dollar signs. That's it. Simple of.
I mean, another example would be Ricochet of late on AEW. Didn't he do like the cross like symbol during one of his matches, like as a reference to Triple H? So you never know, he could end up back in WWE. And everyone, I think someone said in the chat, people blamed Ricochet for the fact that Samantha left. This is like, no, And he even put it on
No.
Twitter. It's like, no, nothing to do with me.
No.
And she's not going to AEW,
Yeah.
so you can't blame me for this sort of thing.
Rewind it back about 20 odd years. Sable came back in 2003 after a hugely publicized court case between her and the WWE for multiple different things. Hulk Hogan returned in 2002 after effectively like welshing on a promise to not work for the other company, still doing that. The whole steroids scandal still came back to 2002. You know, that people, well, and let's not talk about his return a few years after that for other reasons. People always come back.
Ultimate Warrior
People
did.
always come back.
Also,
Yeah. And then he got
Bret
released
Hart.
again. Yeah, Bret Hart. Look, I mean, the Montreal screw job, the most well-documented screw job since the last one with Randy Richter. Like, just everyone eventually comes back.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's just the way it goes. Like,
anyway,
at the end of the day, people. I mean, look, I'm going to try to think myself a hole what I'm going to say here. The tribal chatter online is incredibly tiresome. I literally have zero time for it. At the end of the day, anyone's going to think what they want to think about anything. And so it's just, you know what? Let those people have an echo chamber. Just don't acknowledge them or give them the time of day, because then you amplify what they say. That's my thought. But I'm speaking into our own void, if you will, as well. So, you know, in terms of how far that will go, it is what it is. But it's just, you know what? Samantha Irvin, good on them for going, I actually want to do something else. Like, can I?
Yeah.
And WWE went, kind of don't want you to. Like, we kind of need you in all these shows. It's like, well, I want to go do this. And like I say, time heals wounds, like the examples you pointed out, Matty. So I fully expect, be it, like I say, in a special appearance capacity or a couple of years down the line, she'll be back in some form.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
agree.
got given a special producer note to say we need to bring up the NXT women's division. So in that case, I'm going to hand it over to this one over here, because she's also been saying we need to talk about the NXT women's division.
Well, to be fair, as a whole, I think the whole NXT women's division has been incredible of late. I've only just started getting back into NXT recently. Halloween Havoc was really good. Last week's the casket match was brilliant. We watched it after we finished watching Crown Jewel and the post show, because we needed kind of light relief, so to speak. I am seriously looking forward to this 10-woman tag on NXT this week. And you know, you've got so many good wrestlers who are coming into it, and honestly, NXT is on fire at the moment. And obviously Jordan Grace lost her championship at the last TNA PL pay-per-view. Did they call it pay-per-view or PLE on TNA? I know we call it PLE for WWE.
I think they're PLEs because it's on Peacock.
I mean, TNA have got a whole variety of things. Like, they have like their app specials as well. So you could just say special event, for want of a better phrase, to like encompass them all.
It's just like so good. I mean, and as the CW shift has been its benefit. I know there was a bit of a debacle in regards to because Rhea was a guest on the show last week. Because I think one of the good things is they're bringing them people from Raw and SmackDown into it, and this week it was Rhea, and she was kind of like going around the women's division. There's quite a lot of photos online, and obviously I think one of the things was, after she was beaten up, can they show this blood? But apparently they got the word from the higher ups to go, it's fine. You could see her like collapse in the car park, completely beaten up. I'm just having a look at the full list here of the women's tag for next week, because I cannot remember all the names, unfortunately, in regards to what it is.
While Harry does that,
because my brain.
Yeah. I'm giving you time. I'm just going to vamp for a second. So, Jeremy, were you aware of like Tony Khan's efforts to try and get the entire crowd in Wrestle Dream to chant for Antonio Inoki in a special chant with specially rendered graphics, with Antonio's grandchildren there feeling very awkward, whilst Tony is shouting into the mic like this, and we all need to do a chant. Here's the chant. You're all going to chant, and nobody chanted. Were you aware of that, Jeremy?
It doesn't surprise me.
It was on the 0 hour. And the only reason why I bring it up is because it was the one thing we forgot to talk about in the Wrestle Dream review. So I thought I'd bring it up now. It was terrible. Anyway, did you?
Did that happen in the
find
pre-show or
matches,
something? Because
though?
I never saw the pre-show.
It was in the 0 hour.
It
Okay.
was the pre-show. I've got the list now, so I'm just getting it now. So basically, next week we have Jordan Grace, Julia, Stephanie Valkyria, Zaria, also known as Delta. That's what she's been renamed as, and Kalani Jordan versus Fatal Influence, Roxanne Perez, and Jordan Grace. I am literally just like drooling in regards to how good this match will be. I'm honestly, when I heard it, I was, because I watch it like the next day as and when I can. But next week's going to be a special show because it's held in the same arena as ECW was. So we're going to have Rob Van Dam.
Is it now? I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So we also have like a tag team as well with Bubba Ray Dudley and Trick Williams versus Ethan Page and Ridge Holland, because why not? But no, honestly, the women's division is just incredible. I think when Julia came in, that really kicked it off. Don't get me wrong, Roxanne Perez has been incredible as a heel of late, but I think we needed kind of more fire to add to it, and I believe it has been incredible. Please keep this up. I know me and Matty did talk about this yesterday as well. It's just like, unfortunately, it is one of those things, if they are called to the main card, what happens after? But for the time being, I am just enjoying this for as it is. As someone, like I brought this up briefly in the last pay-per-view for AEW, as a female fan, I love this. I want more of this. Please, thank you very much. Thank you, Shawn Michaels. Thank you.
I think as as at the moment still subscriber to the WWE Network, I'm actually thinking of watching this coming installment of NXT for that very reason, because support women at the end of the day. Just support women. They're just as valid work rate people as the men. So yeah, it's something I'm very much looking forward to. So there's one other thing I wanted to talk with Jeremy about, and I will admit, Harriet, I mean, you don't really know what's going on in regards of like what's happening in Japan, but one very important thing has come up in the last couple of months that I thought about freaking time, Jeremy, and that is Zack Sabre Jr. winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Jeremy, what do you think?
Very happy, to say the least.
Oh yeah,
it fits so well because he, if I remember correctly, he lives in Japan. He can speak some decent Japanese now as well, and everyone likes him because he's such a hybrid of a wrestler, and everything he can do, he's so unique. Whether he is still champion come Tokyo Dome, it would not surprise me if he's not, just because.
Yeah.
But I think it's great he is now a world champion there, because when it comes to future title shots and challenges and stuff, he is now a more than credible challenger as well. But I just hope his title reign goes for a long time, quite frankly. And I really want him to be the champion come the Tokyo Dome. But like I say, just going to be interesting to see how things work out on the main event front, because realistically, the whole like LIJ brand is still massive.
Yeah.
So there's kind of some obvious things there.
And one of the things that's looming on the horizon as well is potential last final bout between him and Tanahashi as well, who is retiring in not this Wrestle Kingdom, but in Wrestle Kingdom 2026. He's having one last. He's copying John Cena. How dare! He's copying John Cena. He's having one last year around as an active wrestler before he calls it quits, which I will also say maybe was due, because that guy is also always a walking injury. But yeah, are you looking forward to the last year of Tanahashi, Jeremy?
No, from the prospect of it's sad he's going to be retiring, but the amount he's done, like his body is wrecked. Like, best will in the world. It's good to know that they've announced it and confirmed it in this way. That said, I think the interesting wrinkle in this that could come into play is he mentioned in the press conference, I believe, that he wants to challenge the IWGP title again. And I think the other caveat was he would retire at Wrestle Kingdom 2026, or if he was champion until he lost the belt. So I've now got this vision that if he wins the title, like it's gonna be like Bryan Danielson. Like, is this his last match? Will he retain? And it could be good fun, but I think it just depends how his body holds up, quite frankly. But either way, it'll be fun to see what direction he goes in. I think he's going to take on the House of Torture for a while, which is like troll.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be it'll be a sad but hopefully a fun year. And I hope they just do some really fun things from his past. The dream match for me, which I don't know if it's going to happen just because of the affiliation with AEW, but the dream match would be get Nakamura to come in and face him.
Oh,
one more time.
Oh,
yeah,
that would be the dream match, but I just don't know if it will happen.
How long's Nakamura got left on his contract? Because they're just not using him outside of like overseas stuff now.
I mean, he's wrestling on Noah's New Year Day show, I think. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Because he did that. I think he did that this past year as well. Was that Charlie Dempsey? Yes. Oh, that was I think that was 2 years ago when he faced.
Oh, don't say that, Matty. Time is relative. Don't tell me that.
I know. I'm so sorry. But what they have been, what New Japan have been very, very good at has been their retirement runs. They did this with Jushin Thunder Liger a few years ago, which I thought was spectacular. And they can only do as far as last hurrahs are concerned, you know, at the end of the day, Tanahashi, good or ill, has been one of their top guys outside of like Okada and Nakamura. So I'm looking forward to it as well. I don't know how I'm going to be able to fit in the programming, as it were, because I never had the time. But I'm looking forward to one last hurrah. I really, really am. They've already announced that the kickoff for his retirement year will be him facing up against Evil at this year's Wrestle Kingdom. So that's
troll.
Oh, yeah, I know. He's also the president, Jeremy, so this is on him. But
literally, the only way is up, literally.
Yeah, final boss. Final boss is probably Gabe Kidd at this point. But anyway, but yeah, I am looking forward to this as well. Harry, bring it home.
So so it's been a really fun show. I've really enjoyed like this last part of it. This was like a premiere, I suppose, of it. So this is something we'll probably bring in more into the future, but we'll talk about it offline and whatnot.
Little pilot, a concept type thing, as well.
Literally a pilot, but yes. Thank you everyone for watching. So as always, if you want to follow us on Twitch, please do so. It's completely free to do so. Subscribe on YouTube as well, and you'll be notified when we go live next. There is the link tree, yes, down below. As I said earlier, it's going to be a busy month for us, so please, we would appreciate if you follow us, and then we'll keep you up to date in regards to AEW Full Gear and WWE Survivor Series War Games. Also, this week, we have also been busy. We do other stuff on the channel. We had the Halloween Quiz Smash special, Halloween special this week, which is available both on Twitch and YouTube to follow. It was very fun. Absolutely loved that. And I keep repeating watching it back because it was just so fun to watch. Also, recently we done Transformers 1 review with Bunker Goes to the Movies. That was very fun. That's exclusively on our YouTube channel, so if you follow on YouTube, you can watch it on there. Later on, whenever myself and Ian are both well enough to do so, we have our monthly wrestling movie, and this month we are reviewing See No Evil. Oh, I am looking forward to talking about that. We are eventually going to be talking about that. And yes, that's pretty much it. So I think there is another quiz smash at the end of it's the last Wednesday of every month. So follow us on follow us on Twitch and YouTube, and you'll know when we go live. So with my lovely host here beside me, Matty, where can we find you?
You can find me on most places. You can find me hiding from the Saudi government for taking the mickey out of their golf carts. But you can mostly find me over on Twitch, on Matty Boo Twitches. Thank you very much for the graphic. I'm on a weird kind of sabbatical. I made these elaborate announcements and realized that it's no way I can actually really do them like in this quarter of the year. So Life is Strange is being postponed until at least January, February time. So I will be flitting in every now and then like a one-off game and a one-off stream, the odd matinee here and there. You can also find me on Blue Sky under Matty Boo. You can find me on Threads and Instagram under Matty Boo Super. You will not find me, well, you can find me, but I won't reply to you over on the Dead Parrot Society. It has ceased to be. I refuse to post there anymore. But yeah, that's pretty much where you will be able to find me.
Dead parrot?
Jeremy's slowly.
It'll come to you. It has a single syllable now, Jeremy.
Oh crap! Yeah, right, fair.
And Jeremy, where can people find you?
Easiest way to find everything I do when I am well enough to do it and whenever life allows me to do it, Linktree/Giraffe. You can find my unboxings video, unboxings YouTube channel, as it were. I recently did the Macross Plus Big Ultimate Edition unboxing, which, honestly, great set. Getting the discs out was fun. That's what I'll say to that. But great set. So if you want to check that out and a number of other unboxings, you can. I am working on the disc video for that. To say I'm having issues trying to get it past YouTube's checks, bit of an understatement. Might currently be on my 10th edit. Little bit BTS for you there. But otherwise, you can find all the links that you need in the link tree there to the Twitch, the YouTube channels, everything else I do in between, and of course here at Bunkamania as well.
Lovely. And also, I forgot to say, yes, another thing we are discussing this month, Money Plane with Kelsey Grammer. I'm really looking forward to that. I know Matty's not, but I am desperately looking forward to it. Also, Red One, I think, is out this month as well. Yes, so also, yes. Go on, Matty. You're gonna say? You gonna review it?
I was going to say, I'm not going to say to people that they need to go watch the Chaperone review for reasons. I'm not going to tell them to look in, to leave a comment afterwards. I most certainly won't tell them to go check us out on YouTube. But most certainly, don't check out the Chaperone review for my sanity's sake alone. But yeah, for reasons, I'm not going to tell you afterwards when you watch it all the way through to leave a comment. I'm not going to tell you to do that at all.
Totally not.
No.
And yes,
No.
if you can find me, my link is down below. I do stream on Twitch as well, Harriett_Mangagar. I usually stream on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. This week I can't, just because of family reasons, but I will be back the following week, continuing and hopefully concluding Man of Medan, because oh my god, I enjoyed it, but my gosh, it was scary. I also do reactions on YouTube, mainly to NSP, Starbomb, Game Grump stuff, and got another couple reactions coming up November and December, and then I'm probably gonna put up a highlight reel of the scares I've done on Man of Medan. You can find me on Threads, Blue Sky, X as well under Manga Girl 232. I usually post my schedules on there of when I go live as well. And I know he's not here, but we'll promote Ian's stream as well. He streams on Mondays at 8 p.m. Watch alongs, the Decadane. I'm not sure if he is streaming this week or not because it was supposed to be the Dead Space one. But follow and we'll keep an eye on that, but would highly recommend watching his channel as well for watch alongs and various making light of stuff that we don't really enjoy, but really taking the mick out of it, and it's just fun. We've finished watching Ghost Dimensions. That's now done till next year. I'm sad there is not a Christmas version of Ghost Dimensions. I'm the only one of the three of us who actually likes it, or the four of us. Matty,
that's a lie.
Harriet. What it is. Okay, by the end of it, I was broken, but I'll be reset by the time it hits next year again. I'll be like, come on, let's watch it again.
What I will say is this. I appreciate that Ghost Dimensions is utter trash. And I appreciate Ian taking one for every team in the world to experience this and bringing it to the forefront so people actually are aware of this. Ian, you are a patron saint for doing this.
Yes.
I will not repeat the sentiments that Jeremy said there.
That said, I think that said, Ghost Dimensions to me, hot garbage. Just saying. Like, I won't touch it.
Oh yeah,
and the
yeah.
ghost won't
pretty
touch
much.
me. Ooh.
Jeremy, were you aware, Jeremy, that Bex and Sean live in a cemetery?
Of course they freaking do. Like,
Were you aware they went on this morning, this year, to tell everyone they live in a cemetery? On that note,
thank you so much for watching this afternoon. Until then, next time you see us, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and chat to you all soon. Catch you later. Bye.